Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Inner Circle podcast. It is Wednesday. Mercury retrograde is in full effect. We're
Yep.
feeling it, but we are here, ready to have a great, amazing show. Welcome back, bestie. How are you?
Hi, did you miss me? I don't think you did.
Of
You guys had a
course.
bomb ass episode without me.
That's true. We did have a good show. We did have a good show. I would say that. But we still missed
Um,
you.
Thanks. No, it was kind of weird to like miss an episode, but at the same time, duty calls and I was super busy with a work event, but I'm back and I'm better. I think the conversation that you guys had last week needs a part two because I have a lot of shit to
Hmm.
say. And yeah, I need Barbie to come back on so she can like me and her can have that female perspective because there's a lot of shit, a lot of bozos we got to talk about, a lot of good times and bad times, but we gotta keep it
Definitely.
going.
She's a friend of the show, and we definitely can't wait to have her on again. Today, we have a special guest as well, Miss Antoinette Wolf Vibrations. We'll be definitely bringing her on in a few minutes. But let's talk real quick. The past weekend, let's catch up real quick.
Yeah.
One, anything fun you did this weekend? Anything? Any movies? Any shows?
Oh, I saw the Doctor Strange movie. Did we
Hmm.
talk about this? I feel like
Yes, we went
I
Friday.
yes, it was a good movie. I'm kind of bummed I didn't see the end credits, but they were kind of pointless. Um, yeah, it was super long. I don't understand why Marvel movies always have to be so long, but at the end of the day, it's the experience. I really liked that. I really enjoyed it, and I don't feel like you need to see part one to understand this one. So
Hmm.
I think thumbs up, and I think everyone should go watch it.
Well, I won't be running to watch, but
Of course you
the
won't,
what I
but
did, I did watch a new movie that came out this weekend. It was actually in movies and streaming on Peacock. Firestarter. It's a remake of the Drew Barrymore one that when she was a kid that she did. Now, going into it,
hmm
I did not have expectations with this. I was
it's
like,
a
but since
movie.
it was on Peacock, it's a movie, and
Okay,
this
I'll
is a
check it out.
remake with Zac Efron.
Yeah,
And the only reason I watch it is because again we have Peacock, so I'm like, why not? But surprisingly, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I thoroughly
yeah.
enjoyed it, and I was surprised. I thought it was
Wait,
gonna
is it
suck.
scary?
No, it's not scary. It's more
Like thriller?
action, thriller,
Hmm. I'll pass.
suspense, but not
I
heavily
don't
action.
really.
I don't know. And Zac
Hmm.
Efron is nice to look at.
He doesn't like. I don't know. He doesn't do it for me. He's too pretty. Like I don't like guys that look too
Oh,
pretty, especially
no,
white
well, now he's
guys.
more of a man. Before he was too pretty in Disney days. Ooh, no, girl. I don't know if you've seen him lately, but
You know what movie he
did you?
looked good as fucking? The Neighbors. That was a good movie.
Oh, that was a
He
funny
looked really
movie. That was
good.
a hell of
Yeah,
a funny movie.
he was on those
Did you
bumps. Anyway,
watch the Billboard Awards?
no, I didn't
Nobody
honestly.
did, and nobody cares. That was my same reaction. I'm like, usually we will do a keep it a shredded or do a touch base, but I'm like, this Billboard suck. Like, I watched the first 5 minutes. Diddy was the host, and apparently an executive producer to this year's show, which explained a lot. So, yep, I didn't watch it. Yeah. And I heard
Yeah,
the ratings continue to decline and
you can
decline.
tell that like it's not as fun or it's not worth watching when you don't really hear anything the next day about it in the news. So
Yeah, yeah.
womp womp.
And then some sad news because we love this girl. Some sad news that broke Saturday. Britney Spears, a few weeks ago, we announced that our girl was expecting a baby. And unfortunately, she announced on Saturday her and Sam lost the baby. So she had a miscarriage there. And
Yeah,
yeah, that's horrible. Horrible.
I I feel for her. I think that's really unfortunate and sad, and that's why there's a stigma around telling people right away that you're
Too
pregnant.
soon. She
Some
said something. She
people
mentioned something like
rather
that.
wait later on, and then sometimes miss later on in while carrying. So it's
Yeah.
really sad, and I hope she like can get through it because she's gone through a lot. So I feel
Yeah.
like she's in a delicate mental state. So I just hope
Now,
she's
quick.
getting like I just hope that she's getting support, especially from her partner.
Yeah. Now, obviously, we read comments. Sometimes we just go into posts just to read people's opinions and comments. I'm playing devil advocate as a podcaster and a host. Do we believe she was ever pregnant?
I think it would be really fucked up and like almost bad karma to announce that you're pregnant and then be like, "Oh, we lost a child."
Mhm.
I want to assume I don't think women I hate and I cannot stand women who lie about being pregnant, and I've known women in my life, in my experiences, young like back in the day, like throw that out there just to keep a man, just to have a guy be in their realm. And I find that shit to be disgusting because you're speaking about a life.
Yeah,
So I don't
exactly.
think
No, of course, some people question it or whatever, but I'm like,
people are that
ridiculous.
skeptical. That's kind of fucked up. But
Yeah. But on some better, happier news, we have a special guest about to join us. She is an entrepreneur. She runs Wolf Vibrations. She's a podcaster, and we are happy to have her here at the Inner Circle podcast. Let's welcome a new friend of the show.
she's a
Welcome
she's
to the
a
Inner
new
Circle
friend,
podcast.
but a longtime listener. Hi,
Yes, there we
Antoinette.
go.
How
Hey
are
guys,
you?
thank you so much for
Welcome.
having me under Mercury's retrograde. I'm so honored.
Whew.
Do you see how it's messing up our audio and it's fucking up like technology? I can't.
It's
Oh
all good.
God.
It's all
I have my
divine.
fan.
It's all good.
But yep, like you say, really quick, has anyone ever told you that you remind them or look like Monique a little bit from Real House of the Potomac?
Oh no,
Yeah.
I have to and I used to watch that. So which one was Monique? I used to watch that. That's the
So
one that
Beat
I don't
Candace's
even remember
ass.
their names. I don't even remember their names, but
she's the
um
one that dragged the one that was very annoying and always has something to say. She's the one that like got into a physical altercation.
Was a
And she's
good
the
thing
one that
because I
has
think
6
Monique is
homes.
beautiful.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, no one's no one's told me that, but I'll definitely check them out. But
Google her,
all of
yeah.
those women, I liked all of those women, I think, if I remember correctly. And I think that there was one white girl on there. Was there one white girl? And she was sort of the one that married the guy that had the winery. And then after the show, they got divorced.
Wait.
Or that could have been a different DC
There's so
one.
many
That could
franchises, yeah.
yes, that was DC. I know
Oh,
exactly who
okay,
you're
my
talking
bad.
about. They're the ones that crashed the White House
Oh
like
yeah,
party.
yeah. Because
Hmm.
that's still very close. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
DC is a hop skip away from Potomac.
yeah,
Like it's not that far.
yeah.
So
No, but I'll
Antoinette,
definitely. I'm gonna take that as a compliment. So thank you,
It
Charlie.
no,
is.
definitely. It is. I love Monique. She was my favorite from Potomac, and I think she's so beautiful. And when you came on, like, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, and just your energy too, the way you see. Check her out.
Okay, well,
But Wolf Vibrations, you're a podcaster, you're an activist. There's so much you do, and this is why I love women because you women do so much. Where did you start? Where did it all start? Was it activism? Was it podcasting?
sure. So, honestly, it's a little bit of it all. With everything, with all of us, it's a little bit of you pick up a little this, a little that. So for example, I never really had the courage to open my business, which is a more of a centering type of store. And when I say centering, like centering with your source or centering with yourself, or if you do yoga or meditation, but I never had the courage to be open about that side of myself until 2018. I had experienced a near death experience in 2016, and I had left my career back in 2016 that I'm no longer in, period, anymore. But I had left my career, which was very aggressive, hard sales. And then in 2018, I went back into my career. So from 2016 and then 2018, my life had dramatically changed because of that experience that I had, if that makes sense. And it was like I had gone back into that aggressive sales environment, and things were not the way that they were. Like I did no longer saw things,
Your mindset changed.
I no longer thought certain, being aggressive was important for my needs, if that
Right.
makes sense. If I'm making, and so, one of the main things I can tell you is that, I remember I started going into stores. I'll just be honest, like crystal shops and going to do other meditations and getting into yoga and things like that. And I started realizing and remembering when I was in college and how back in Los Angeles, how I was already attracted to those things then, and it all just kind of came up, and I just felt like, this is me, this is real. Now I was still in that aggressive sales environment, but because of how it was bringing my anxiety bringing my anxiety down and things like that, I was like, you know what, I want to share this because this is real. So I started working on my store, and then unfortunately in 2020 the world got hit with COVID. Luckily, my store had already, I had already started the steps of bringing this out, if that makes sense, So that's how the store portion came. Now, as far as the podcast, how I got interested in that, which I just completed my 11th episode of What We've Been Waiting For, is during the, and we're still in it, but at the beginning of the pandemic, what occurred was, I don't know if you guys remember, but there were some deaths. There's always deaths, but there were quite a few actually. But the one that really just, I think, drove me over the edge to where I am now is the George Floyd. I'll just be honest. And I apologize that I'm bringing back history.
No.
I'm talking about
Don't.
the past, but I just want to share with
That's
you
not
guys
the past.
what
That's
brought me.
very present in the future. That's present today, and that's probably gonna happen in the future. So don't apologize.
Well, the point is just that really, like, I mean, it just something just took over me. I can't even, and so I realized, there's no way that no matter what I can go back. I'm going back into sales. There's no way. And I'm now in school studying law. And because I want to understand, because there's reasons, there's personal reasons why, but I definitely want to have a much better understanding of our rights. And not that I haven't been to college, because I have actually studied journalism. And that's another reason why I talk about some of the stuff that I talk about on my podcast of What We Have Been Waiting For, about or even sometimes when I'm posting for Wolf Vibrations about companies and profit, because again, I've been on that side. I've also had an internship with a major record label while I was in college. So I'm well aware. I'm not just talking when I say, the way how products are pushed and why they're pushed. And I'm quite aware. I mean, I've been on that side. I wanted to be on that side until I had that near-death experience, I thought. Does that make sense? So that's kind of pretty much how that happened. Once I got back in school, I just realized, like, you know what? I just want to be more aggressive. I want to help people come back to themselves. Not even necessarily, it's not even a religious thing as far as my store with Vibrations. It's more of a thing for people to realize how magnificent they are, and understand that we don't really need all of these other things that we think are making us feel good. We're being told that that's what's going to make you feel good. You know what I'm saying? And so, and believe me, trust and believe, I like stuff still. You know what I mean? I do like stuff, but I'm also, it's sort of like, I was telling a group of my friends recently that, like my manicures, for example, have gotten replaced with the plants outside my garden. You understand what I mean? Because plants are not cheap. But anyway, but anyway,
No,
so
no.
it's sort of like, you know, what really is going to make me feel good for the long term, not make me feel good for a little while, so then I have to go and upgrade to stay in that utopia feeling. What's really going to do that, you know? And the reason why I love the fact that, for me, I love the fact that when I'm doing my podcast, which again, I'm still brand new. I mean, you guys are like, believe it or, because one of the reasons why I watch you guys so frequently, you guys are like my mentors in a way, unknowingly, because I mean, you guys just had your 100th episode about 2 weeks ago. And by the way, congratulations on that milestone. Oh my God.
Thank you.
You know, but my point is just that, one of the reasons why I forget what I was saying. I was so busy, like, you know, wanting to make sure I gave you guys your props. But
the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, to make a long story short, I mean, it's so new, but I just feel like I just want to get the message out there that, hey, let's go ahead and start getting back to self. Let's go ahead and also understand who we are as people, as individuals. I don't care. I mean, you know, some podcasts I'm talking about women. Sometimes I'm talking about, you know, African Americans. Sometimes I'm speaking about children. So there's different things. So it's not any particular one group of people. The bottom line is for you to, as we get closer, deeper in ourselves and begin to love ourselves, it'll allow us to love one another. But we have to truly understand what loving ourselves first is. Now, I don't talk that much about loving yourself on the podcast. I actually try to bring a lot of attention to what's happening and why it's happening, you know, from my perspective. And again, my podcast is simply my perspective, but it's my podcast. Does that make sense?
No,
you know, that's why mine's
absolutely.
just unedited, you know, because it's so damn new. Sometimes I make a few mistakes, but I'm listening, Charlie. Go ahead.
Well, listen, I listened to your podcast, and I myself, thank you for the compliments to us, but I also was like, wow, I love that it's you by yourself, and and it's not easy for one person to carry a podcast usually alone. So you do it very well. So I'm giving you your props there, and I love it. It's like you do like short podcasts, like 20 minutes sometimes and stuff, and it's like concise, informative, conversational. It's just you, but it sounds like you're having a conversation with someone else there. And I love that. Not a lot of podcasters or people can pull that off. And even me myself sometimes if I have to go by myself or do something by myself, I'm like, oh boy. But I felt you did that so well listening to you, and I definitely enjoy it. So for our people who may not know Antoinette and have not listened to her podcast, definitely check it out, because I definitely enjoyed it. But let's talk about some more stuff. Like you said, you talk about your perspective, what you think, and things going around. There's so much that I want to touch on with you.
Sure.
What are some of the things of today? Because we were talking about the world and how crazy and fucked up it's going. What are some of today's destructive beliefs that you think we need to eradicate?
Well, again, going back to what I initially said, it's just that, you know, that we're not worthy, that we're not enough on our own without shiny things. And again, I do like things. So I'm not in any way, shape, or form being judgmental. I just, you know, I'm aware. I personally have lived it where, you know, I'm aware of not feeling good if my nails weren't done, or not feeling good. Well, like the fact that I'm here like this right here with, you know, my natural hair, you know, as natural as possible, you know, on my face and everything, right? And no lashes and things like that. I have to honestly share with you.
And you still look good.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Melanie, that smile, I'm gonna say that you agree because of that beautiful smile that I see coming back at me. But
sure do.
But there's been times where I never would have thought that. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's been times where I never ever would have thought that, you know, or would have felt bad. Like I remember hating my hair when it was
Me too.
longer but natural. Do you understand what I mean? Just things like that. Just like our, or my features, that my features aren't good enough, or you know, there's just, you know, a lot of those things. And again, when we don't care, when we don't appreciate ourselves and our true selves and our traits and things of that nature, we're not going to like others, or we're going to feel lower about ourselves. We're not going to be our highest selves, and we're going to hide, and we're not going to help one another because we're hiding. I mean, it's
Right.
really deep. It's really
It
deep.
is.
I mean, just an example with that, with you know, some of these kids in school that are not the most recent things, and I know that we can get to that, but you know, right now what I'm kind of focused on also, which I haven't really talked about on the podcast, is some of these children that are getting bullied and offing themselves. You understand what I mean? These young children,
Yeah.
you know, because they think that, you know, there's something wrong with them because they're different. You know, that's a big deal. That's really sad. That's really, really sad. And a lot of that again has to do with, you know, the who's bullying them and what's happening behind those closed doors of the bullies. You know what I
It's
mean?
Yeah.
And
happening
what are
more
their
and
parents'
more.
thoughts about themselves? You know,
It
so
is.
again, it always goes back into what I keep saying is what I have found to be true. My truth is that it goes back to self. It goes back to how do you feel about yourself and what are you putting out? Because I can see a difference just in family members, you know, that may have, like I have a family member who's, you know, my awesome family member who has two children, who has two children that's very different in age range, right? And
Mhm.
you can see the difference by with my family member of how she treated the one based off of her beliefs at that time versus where
Mhm.
she is now in her life and how she raises. You could just see the difference, and even on how on the children. And that is, I'm not saying
Yeah.
that it's good or it's bad, but you could just see based off of what's going on with the parents. So again, it goes back to self. You know, it goes back. And if you think about it, and I know it seems like I'm capitalizing this conversation, and forgive me, but if you think about it, when as I continue to talk, if you think about how you know, you'll have friends that say that still talk about their mommy or daddy issues, right? You know,
Mm.
Oof.
like, you know what I'm saying? So
Mm-mm-mm.
again, it goes back to self, that parent, even, and I hate to say this, but like, even when you have, you know, I really hate to say this because it's going to sound real cray cray. I'm going to sound like a Looney Tune. But when you think about like even the predators, right? What did they deal with that brought them to that place? Do you understand what I'm saying? What did they
Mm.
deal with that brought them to that place where they inflicted that hurt onto someone else? So again, it goes back to what are we being fed? What are we feeding ourselves? And what do we, you know, what are we being fed?
So what are some of the steps for people like God bless people like you who kind of, or even myself, like as we're getting older or just experiencing life more, we start seeing things in a different lens or perspective. But there's still some people that maybe don't go that route and are still stuck in those ways that you was talking about. Like,
Oh yeah.
you know, what are some of the for yourself, what worked for you? What's some advice that you could give those people that are still in that tough place that
It's
need the
hard.
certain things to make them happy or etc.?
This is why I say there's like no judgment, and as you continue in the process you start realizing that, because I mean, I'm still growing. I mean, I have days where I do put judgment when something crazy happens, and I really go hard. Like, I mean, you know, especially the people I know, they be so mad, like, oh shit, that happened in the news, because then, you know, because then I'd be like, this is your fault, motherfuckers, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's true. But I'm like, because it's true. So it is hard to come to a place, but the first thing is that you want to acknowledge and accept that it's real, that there's a situation that occurs. The second thing I would say is acknowledging and believing that something could change, because we believe that a product's going to make us feel good. Why can't we believe that there could be peace in the world? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We believe, I mean,
So,
haven't you, I mean, look, Melanie, and I'm going to say this to you because you're a female here, that I saw you had on some red lipstick one time, and I was like, oh, that looks like Ruby Woo. I don't know, but the point is, again, but see, I'm not even about Ruby Woo no more, but I still know. You see what I'm trying to say? But where there's a product that you'll be like, I have to have that. That's going to be, I mean, I know I've been like, I have to have it. This is getting ready. When I put this on, I'm going to go close 2 deals tomorrow. And you do, because you have that belief. It's a mindset.
Right.
So the first thing is acknowledging that there's change could happen, and that there's an issue, I believe, right? And also, again, going back to believing that you're worthy, that you are worthy. I mean, I think that's really challenging for us, especially depending on, there's no heat, no judgment. Please don't, I mean, because I can't tell is this just Facebook on this side, or is this Facebook and YouTube on this side?
And YouTube. And
Oh,
it will be streaming on all your favorite streaming services.
Oh, okay.
the next
Okay.
day.
Oh,
But
okay.
we on Facebook and YouTube. Hi, world.
Okay. All right. So anyway, with I'll tell you what that is later. But anyway, so with that being said, what was I going to say, guys? Forgive me. I do that on the podcast too. I'll be like,
wait, while you think about what you were going to say, I do want to reference something that you said about like having specific items. I noticed when I was in college, I went to a fashion school, and I felt that while I was in fashion school, I needed to have the latest handbags. I needed to have the latest outfits. I needed to basically I needed to prove that I was supposed to be there by having all these materialistic things. And then as time goes by, all that shit is like not relevant anymore. And it's not relevant to have, because it's all in your mind. Like, I fell in love with the industry, and I really enjoyed working in the industry, but I also felt I wasn't happy. Like, having materialistic things didn't suffice, because you get all this free shit when you work in the industry, but the pay sucks, the hours are long, and it's just it's like a mental mind fuck. So
right.
I let go of those things, and I'm happy now.
Right. And if you think about it, I think that also, once you also come to a place that, like, again, you were in the industry, so a lot of those were your personal perks. But for someone who doesn't have the luxury that you have, for example, right, that Mel doesn't have, that she did have, I want to get that too, not knowing A, that those were perks, and B, and I've done it. I still have some stuff that I won't give away. Like, I have some Fendi bags and shoes and stuff, you know what I'm saying, that I will not give away because I paid for them. And, but I have given a lot of other stuff, like, because I paid for it, but I have given other stuff away. So I don't know. So
oh no.
No, yeah, definitely.
We're frozen, looking crazy.
I definitely understand that when it comes to things, because even me myself, Melody, especially when I worked at Wait, I didn't know you when I worked at Bloomingdale's. I met you after. But when I worked at I get that. Like, and even Bloomingdale's aside, I feel like I did go through that stage myself, especially as a gay man, where like I had to wear the certain trends or certain this or have that, and it's like, especially the last year or so. Like, now I'm just so like,
I think as you get older, you start realizing like it's not like those materialistic things don't amount to work-life balance, and it don't amount to having, like, I don't know, happiness. So at the end of the day, like, all that shit's replaceable, but time is not replaceable, and your happiness is not replaceable.
Exactly.
So, and that even goes for jobs too. Especially with COVID, so many people realized that they weren't happy in their jobs and switched over. Me being one of them.
People are still saying "fuck that job." Like, people easy right now. Like,
true, but I mean, I just person who stays in a job and complains about it and does nothing to move on from it, you're basically a coward. Like, you're settling.
Absolutely. No, definitely agree with that. Go ahead.
So clearly I'm frozen, but you can still hear me. I'm about to turn off my video.
I can still see you, and you're moving on my head.
Oh, I
I
am.
can still see her. Yeah, I can see
I
you moving.
mm,
I could
Facebook's
definitely see
being
you
weird.
moving. Listen, I'm telling you, y'all people who be making fun of us because we believe in horoscopes and Mercury retrograde and all this universe talking shit, y'all the fools. And I'm making fun of you guys because, yeah, like, there's truth to this. Um, and
You're
she's back.
back.
Hi.
Hey.
Back again.
Sorry, we
Now,
both have frozen like screens. It's fine.
Now, Antoinette, we want to do something from before we pick your brain on, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, so we definitely want to touch on that. And we want to talk on some unfortunate events that went on this weekend, and it just seems to be going on in this
Sure.
country. Definitely want to get your perspective with that. But
Sure.
first, let's have a little fun. Let's have a little guessing game and maybe a little
Sure.
live. Let's do one of our favorite games here where our guests at the Inner Circle podcast, two truths and a lie. Now, we told you prior to the show to come up with two truths and a lie, and I guess Melanie and myself are going to try to guess what is it, the lie, right? Yeah, the lie.
Yes.
So let's do it.
Okay. So I just want to, clarify. I give you two truths and a lie.
Yes.
And we have to guess what the lie is.
Okay. So do you want all the info at once or do you want it after each thing?
All at once. All at once.
Okay. Okay. Just making sure. Okay. So, all right. Random things. So once I traveled to Rome, and while I was there, I had a panic attack in the train station. Because I couldn't understand the English on the signs. I mean, I couldn't understand the language that were on the signs. And also, let's see, once I passed out at the Viper Club, which is in California, Johnny Depp used to own that.
I know that Viper Club well. Continue.
And another is, I'm raising two cats named Paris and Nicole.
Oh, I want the last one to be true.
I love the last one.
I feel like the last one is a lie.
It's a lie. Yeah.
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 Wait, so that is crazy that you passed out in the Viper room because that place is tainted and they need like a gallon of holy water. Because wasn't that the same place that River Phoenix passed, like he died?
Yeah. Did he die there?
Yeah, he died like outside in the street, like on the curb.
Wow.
I think.
Wow. I remember when he passed, I do remember that because I'm old enough to remember that, but I didn't know that it was at the Viper Room.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I'll confirm with production. Hold on.
All right.
Me.
Well, moving on. As we mentioned, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I'm just happy. And I was thinking about this today, and I even hit Melanie up. I'm like, we have to ask Antoinette about it. The difference, because growing up, and correct me if I'm wrong, ladies, if you feel different, but growing up, there was not this much push on mental health. With men, it's like man up.
Right.
Men are always told, man up, stay strong, you got to provide, et cetera, et cetera. With women, I'm not a woman, but I feel like just growing up, it was just never spoken about. Oh, she's just like that. It's just she's a woman, emotional, hormonal.
Right.
That's what we
Right.
talked it up to.
Right.
Or I would hear as a kid, teenager.
Right.
I'm very excited that as I'm getting older, there's more of a push and a focus on mental health awareness. What do you think this is doing for the world? Now that we're highlighting it more and not making people feel like mental health is a stigma or something they should hide behind or they're wrong if they do have issues. What's your feelings on now more of the push and focus on mental health?
Oh yeah, I mean definitely. That's what I have to tell you. I think that that's a huge part of self-love is recognizing, hey, I need some help. Again, understand that a lot of things that people don't understand is that there's a it's not just you're going to have some stuff because it's designed that way. Does that make sense? It's designed for you to think, hey, you need some kind of pill. But I mean, again, if you need a pill, go get it. Okay. I know I'm almost like, it's like, I'm teeter-tottering with that. But what I'm saying is that I think it's good that we're now recognizing that, hey, not everybody's really crazy. People are starting to recognize that society can make you crazy, and if that's how you have to take it or look at it so you can get what you need so that you're not blowing up schools and stuff, you understand what I mean? Or chopping up your parents or cats and shit. You understand what I'm saying? Like, go get that help, man. Go get that help. But I can tell you, like, when I was growing up, actually, and I'm saying growing up, but I really mean when I was in college, because people didn't really use the word crazy. So whenever someone would say like, oh, she's crazy or he's crazy, I would literally take that literal because people weren't really, people were saying like if someone was just outspoken that they were crazy. Or do you understand what I'm saying? Do you get what
it was someone against the norm? Anyone that was against the norm, they would feel that they were not all the way there.
Right. And so that prohibits people from going to go get the help that they need. And then what ends up happening, they end up doing crazy things, and another thing, Charlie, just like the LGBT, is that
Q plus folks, community. Right? I be getting it wrong sometimes too, or missing a letter. Don't worry.
I've always felt like, it's almost like, I'm glad that people are openly being who they are for that reason too, because again, you're pushing people, men and women, into situations where they're forced to have these fake ass marriages, bringing out these kids, and then the kids later thinking that there was something wrong with them when the motherfuckers weren't being real. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? That again, it's all about embracing self. So if you need some help, go get that shit. Go get it. You understand what I mean? Don't keep on tainting the world. Now, again, I'm a little extreme with it, but it does really start with self. I really believe that, I really believe that. And you got to also understand that people of darker skin, and I'm referring to, I guess, Black Americans or Afro Americans or, whatever people feel comfortable, the term that people want to use to identify themselves as a Black American or a person of color that has African descent that live here in the United States, that's a big deal where that's something that a lot of people, especially men, that
you're right here. I was going to ask you about that.
Would not get that, don't go get the help that they need and end up taking it out on their wives and things, and having, and that creates other issues. So again, it all goes back to self, but it also goes back to acknowledging that maybe some of the things that you were taught initially weren't true. But that's a whole different conversation. But
like history in school. But that's another conversation. Listen, I gotta say, and we're right here. I love that because I was gonna bring that up. And like you said, you whatever you describe yourself, Black American, African American descent, but especially with the men, just in general, in a African American household or American, like you said, women or men, it's like, oh no, you're not going to talk about our problems, blah blah blah. But especially with the men, and I love how men like Charlemagne. I don't know if you know who Charlemagne the God from The Breakfast Club.
Okay. Oh no, but.
Well, I love, he's a black man in America, and I love how for the last few years especially, he's advocated and gone so strong on mental health. He even has a book about it. Yes. And I think he, as one of the first straight Black Americans to like really go and just talk on his show as well about mental health and what he deals with and everything, I felt that was so admirable and was like a big step forward for men to see, like, listen, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to get help.
That's right.
It's okay to try to find out the underlying issues of why we do what we do or feel the way we feel.
Yes.
Why do you think for some people it's hard, though, to go get that first step. And I think, like you
Again,
said,
I
it
mean,
goes
it's
back to self.
exactly what you were just saying. It's a lot of the beliefs that we were taught, you know, and a lot of people are like, you know, all you have to do is pray, or they'll go to the church. And again, these conversations, you know, I don't want to, you know, I'm trying to just stay on where we are, but,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of it, again, is all back to that profit, though, for real. It's back to that profit. You understand? When I say profit, I'm saying PROFIT. It's back to that, you know, the dollar,
Gotcha.
the bottom line, you know, it goes back to that, of things that have been pushed and, you know, but yeah, again, get that help if you feel like, especially now though, I mean, think about it. There is so much, there's so much. It's almost like, I hate to say this, but it's sort of like COVID, the pandemic definitely should have been for, I mean, I'm not going to say should, because again, everybody wakes up when it's their time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But for me and a lot of people that I'm familiar with, it definitely was an opportunity for us to have some downtime to evaluate where we are in our places, where we are in the world. You understand what I mean? And think about all the, you know, you had people being abused during COVID. You had people that I know people that committed suicide during COVID. You know what I mean? You have people that committed suicide during COVID. I mean, again, COVID was really an opportunity for you to kind of look at yourself. And a lot of people figured, hey, I don't really like myself. And some people chose to get the help. Some people chose to block it out with drugs and alcohol. Some people, you know,
change jobs.
Expand, you know, so I'm glad that there's a push though, because we need that more than ever. I mean, there's so much going on with, you know, they're now talking about, and this is real now. Now I'm not going to sound crazy when I say it. They done discovered the aliens. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they've announced that there really are aliens. You know, you guys have seen that, because Melanie, your face.
And we've spoken about it on the show.
Oh, okay.
I'm skeptical about the whole alien thing. He really thinks that there's aliens. I don't.
We're not alone. We are not alone.
I don't.
This universe is too big. Like, we are not alone.
I believe in the chupacabra growing up, but I don't know about aliens.
She believes in the chupacabra, but not aliens. Let's talk about, and it's heavy, but it's prevalent. This weekend, I'm sure you heard what happened in Buffalo.
Sure.
I don't know where the death toll's at. I'm someone, although I'm a podcaster, I try to be involved and informed enough, but I also try to be away from the news.
Sure.
But obviously, this was very much there. So I don't know where the death toll is at right now, but last I know was 10 deaths. It was at the supermarket top. Melanie, help me out. Top something.
I forgot the name.
Up in Buffalo.
I
saw the video.
Tops.
I think it's
maybe just Tops. Yeah, but and then another issue in California, and then some in a church as well this past weekend. So much going on with gun violence,
yes,
and it's linked to racism.
Yes.
Listen, growing up and being taught the history we were taught, and as I kept getting older in high school, I'm like, okay, great. I'm part of this new world where things are getting better. But now, in my 30s,
right,
I'm like,
or like accepted.
WTF? Like, everything I was taught about prejudice and all this stuff growing up and what our ancestors dealt with,
right,
it's rolling back around. It's still very much prevalent. And now the gun violence and everything, what's your take on it? And like, how do we move forward as people and as a world, but starting in the United States?
Sure. First of all, again, recognizing that there really is an issue like you guys have, right? And again, this is just simply my humble opinion, you know, as a person that lives in the United States that pays taxes. This is just my humble opinion, but you know, recognizing that there is in fact an issue. I think that understanding our real history is important. I think it is not so you can get angry, but again, especially with Black folks, so that you can have a sense of pride. You understand what I mean? But again, I can take this so many different ways here. So, I'll
Yeah.
stick to the gun violence and things of that nature. But um, and again, going back to loving, as you love yourself, you do see the love in others. You really do. That's not a make believe. This is a truth. This is just a truth. As you continue to love and identify with your greatness and who you are, you become more tolerant of other people around you. You know what I mean? And so I just think that the gun violence and then the hate crime is yeah, it's together, but that kid had already had a history. I'm talking about the kid for Tops. He had, I think they said that he had killed a cat. His mother knew he had some issues. Then he had an issue at threatening the school and everything, and nobody took it serious. But then he was still allowed to purchase a gun, even though he has a history, like a recorded history at such a young age of not being a healthy person. So again, the parents are ignoring that their child needed some goddamn help. You understand what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? And look what's happened. But I have been, and I do, this is a hard pill to swallow. Sometimes we have to recognize too that some things, Holy Spirit or creator, God, source, whoever, whatever you want to
Hmm.
say, the universe, whatever makes you feel comfortable. The bottom line, once you allows these things to happen so you can have awareness that there is a time for you to figure out where you stand in all of this, right? And so in order for us to come to a place of being able to unify with one another, first you got to unify with yourself. Then as you unify with yourself and you spread more love within yourself, you're going to spread that to others, and that's going to, it's a domino effect. Just like if you think about when your parents came together, but yeah, that's just two people, but really then that's four, and then really that turns to eight. You understand? Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Does that make, do
Yep.
you understand?
No,
So again, it
definitely.
always comes
Definitely.
back to self, but yeah, this shit is getting crazy. Again, people really need to know what their real history is, which is a big push to deny that, to fight it. Like in Florida, I know we were talking about New York and I'm talking about Florida, but the governor
No, it's okay.
bans 56 math books talking about, because it was teaching critical race theory, okay, which is bullshit. Those books actually teach us how to think, critical thinking. Math teaches you to have critical thinking so you can be productive for longevity, right?
Right.
So again, you have to also be able to pay attention to the signs, but without anger, because we also have to have allies. We also, do you understand what I mean? I mean, we're
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
all in this. This is going to sound real crazy. This is going to sound real cliche and everything, but truthfully, the slogans do make sense, but people ain't living up. We really are all in this together. But see, I always, people have cut me off since I have been so bold, because I have friends that, again, I come from aggressive sales background. And so, you know, I like this one guy, I remember he was saying, who owns a multiple real estate, he's a broker, right, that he owns. But anyway, and he was pushing, having a huge influence because he has money, right? But he was saying, you know it's all about America. It's all about America. Like, because he was in the military and stuff like that. And I was like, yo, but what about the people that have family members in Africa still? You understand what I mean? Or just in the Middle East. And he was like, no, we have to take care of home first. And I'm like, yeah, but I can't do that. I can't afford to do that, bro. That's not how I just can't. Because see, once you allow any seed of division, then it can go whichever way. So you have to kind of stop it, and you have to be bold. If you're serious, stand up. Not necessarily all crazy like some of the podcasters are. I'm
Right.
just saying, just say from where you are. Be that light. You have a light, shine that shit.
I
absolutely.
think at the end of the day, if you speak your truth and you're content with what you say and how you say it, and you're able to express yourself in your own setting, that's all that matters. It
That's
really,
right.
if people want to listen to you and people want to indulge in whatever you're saying and entertain it, that's great. If they don't, there's the door. Like, they don't have to listen. It's
That's
not
right.
obligated.
That's right. And here's the nice thing though, but because you have just, even if someone says, right? Even if somebody says that, right? At the end of the day, you still have touched them. That's why you have to be careful of what you surround yourself with, because it still gets on you. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
Right.
sense? So
Energy. Energy is real.
yeah, just be that light. Not everybody is meant, not all of us are meant to be out here doing whatever. That's not our, everyone, we all have a divine purpose. We don't all have to be zombies or whatever, just from where you are. But here's my biggest thing. If you don't give a fuck, like for example, Amazon, like, now again, this is hard for a lot of people, trust me, not just trust me, but like Amazon, they're in it, they are connected with the airline, ICE airline. I can't give you the actual name, you'll have to look it up, but
Yeah.
whatever I'm saying is factual. And and so I won't do business with them, and I recently tried to do something with QVZ, and it was a headache. But anyway, the point is, Amazon, I won't be using them. Now, I know a lot of people won't, right? A lot of people will still use them. And why would they? Feel like it's very uh
Convenient.
yeah, thank you. Thank you, Melanie. It's very convenient. So I don't have any judgment, because some things are a process. You have to get there. You know what I mean? I
Right.
personally, I'm like, it's hard as hell, but I'm so dedicated to what's going on. I feel like I have to. Like, if I don't, nobody else in my family will, if that makes sense. So I have to. Do you understand? But not
Mm-hmm.
everybody's thinking like that. And I'm not judging anybody, because it's a process. Just like I no longer eat meat, or fish. And I'm so proud of myself for that. You know what I mean? But trust me, for a long time, I had been thinking for years, and I thought I was doing something because I was just eating some chicken. You know what I mean? But I was still, but then finally I was like, fuck it. I'm just done. I'm just done. Do you
Right.
understand what I mean? It's a
Mm-hmm.
process. It's a process. I mean, it's not always meant for us to all get it at the same time. It's just not.
That's
But for,
true. That's
yeah,
true.
I feel like I'm kind of all over the place, but I hope I'm still answering.
No, you're making sense, and I value what you're saying, because at the end of the day,
Trust.
what you are saying is people have their own time and place to get to where they need to go. Whether
Mm-hmm.
that's now or whether that's a year or 2 years or whatever from now. At the end of the day, when you seek that journey and you do it with love, you're gonna get to that
That's
destination.
right. That's right.
My question, and maybe both you ladies can answer this: why do you think some people it takes them longer to see? Like, we're all talking about how we want to heal and get better and etc. Why do you feel? What question for both of you? Some people it may take longer, and these are
Because some
sometimes people
people,
who are older than us.
yeah, because well, some people are, I think people process things differently. Am I right, Antoinette? And also, I think that some people have it easy where everything is there for them to like see it. Whereas some other people, they have to go through situations that get you to that point where like,
Right.
oh, I need to get my shit together, or I need to change this about
Right.
me, or like this ain't working out for me anymore. So everyone's pace is different. You can't get things
Mm.
right away. If that was the case, we would be fucking robots.
That's right. But also too, I want to I want to be abundantly clear on this one point too. Again, it also it's designed that way too. You understand
Mm.
what I mean? It's definitely designed from, I'm getting ready to sound like Morpheus and stuff, and I'm okay with it. But it starts from the moment we're born in that hospital. You understand what I mean? Or at well, if somebody's born at home, then they might be on the more spiritual tip. You know what I mean?
Right.
But my point is just that it all starts from. It's design. We're here. We were here for a real purpose from our creator. But because of dollars and things of that nature, right? Those people, everything's a sale, baby girl, and sir, everything is a sale.
I could
Everything
be
is a
baby girl
sale.
too.
You understand what I mean? And so it's hard. Stuff is programmed hard, boo, hard. It's
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
crazy. You
it
got
is
to be
very.
woke than a motherfucker, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
cool. Like, I cry a lot. You understand what I mean? Just because, not because of because I'm unhappy, but it is sad. It is sad
It
because
is.
and it's so hard for people to break out of it, especially for, I believe, and I'm speaking for people of color, but especially if, you're lower income and things like that, you know what I mean? And you only have had a certain exposure, and all you see is like the rappers and the people on TV telling you that, if you're iced out, then that means you're valuable. You know what I mean? It's hard for you. And then shit around you look all dirty and old. And do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like,
And that's what
Yeah.
pushes these kids to get the quick, fast money. So they're selling drugs, they're gangbanging, they're stealing. So, like you said, it's systematic. It's like, whoa, you
it's,
want to live like this, but
and
crazy.
then we don't want to recognize, and it's hard for people, like, people got mad at me because I went off about that Will Smith, and I used to like Will Smith and everything, don't get it twisted, but the point is that he looks good, don't he? But the point is that the point is that, we don't know that man, we all got bills, we all we all, you know what I'm saying, we all are building our legacies. You understand what I mean? We all, like, and understand that we all have our own intentions as well. That's
Absolutely.
all.
Exactly.
That's, I, again, stay with self, man. Connect with yourself. I mean, you were here. If you're here on this planet, you're already winning. If you woke up in the morning, you're already winning. You know what I'm
Amen.
saying? If you can see, you're already winning. If you got clean water, you're winning, because did we know that people in Flint some people still don't have clean water? Then I'm gonna tell you another thing that people got mad at me about. I don't know. I guess I want to turn this into people getting mad at me. But anyway, is when I said that about Obama. Do you know, I used to like this guy that tried to tell me something about Obama. This was years ago, and I kicked him out of my house, right? Because that's how I used to be. But then years later, when I found out Flint still had dirty water, this was during the pandemic, is when I realized it, right? When I found out that Flint still had dirty water. I was like, hold up, but didn't Obama get on there and do not a press conference, but he did a huge thing where he said that the water was straight. And so I went back to see, and yeah, I did see that. And so I could not longer pretend anymore. I cannot, when your
Mm.
eyes are open, your eyes are open, man. I mean, I'm sorry. And people get mad. I'm telling you, people get mad, yo. People get mad. But listen, it's like, are you going to stand or not? You know what I mean? And again, it's not for everybody. It's not for
It's
everybody.
not.
Just do the best that you can as an individual. There's no heat, no judgment. No heat, no judgment. Different things move different people. Some of us are moved because, like, I might be moved not to eat meat anymore because of my dogs. You understand what I'm trying to say? I don't fell in
Yeah.
love with my animals and shit. You understand what I mean? So that could be why I'm not eating meat. I mean, some people might be doing it because they have kids. You know what I mean? Some people might be doing it because
Because
they
it's on
watch.
trend too, and because they see bad vegan. It everything aligns at the end of the day.
That's
But what I
right.
do want to say before we wrap up is
Oh,
that
forgive
I
me.
appreciate, no, you're fine. I appreciate you. We appreciate you so much for coming on.
Oh, yeah.
I love the fact that you're on the journey of doing your own podcast. I'm excited for you, and I can't wait till you have your 100 episode.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
and then this is the part where we want you to sell yourself and tell everyone where they could find you. Tell
Oh,
them where they can find your podcast,
Yeah,
yes.
so,
your
yeah.
social media.
Yes.
I know that sounded like sell yourself like a hoe. No, not like that.
Well,
That's how I
no,
like to
but
put it.
but look, I mean, everything's a sell, right? So yeah, basically everyone can find my Instagram, Woof Vibrations, or you can go to my website, woof-vibrations.com. So woof-vibrations.com. Also, definitely hit up my podcast though. Follow my journey on the
Definitely.
podcast.
Where
Please
is your
do. I love
podcast
this.
Which
besides
is,
Spotify?
yeah, it's pretty much everywhere, Apple, Spotify, even it's still on Amazon currently, Audible and stuff like that. But what we've been waiting for unedited Antoinette Wolf. You could just type in Antoinette Wolf, you know. But yeah, and then as far as the things at Wolf Vibrations, I offer different meditation tools like singing bowls, journals, yoga mats, crystals, candles. I also have different teas. Like, you know, I love Indian teas with the turmeric. So I have all of
Yes.
those things, a whole bunch of stuff, books. Go just check it out. Check it out. But also definitely follow that podcast because as I
Definitely
learn more while I'm in school this time around, you know, you'll know what's up. You'll know
I
what's
love your
up.
podcast. People who've been following us, listening to us, please definitely check out our girl because I love it. I fell in love with it. It's like short, sweet, and concise. That's how
Thank you,
I can describe it. Short, sweet, and
Melanie.
concise.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
I love
Thank
it.
you. And thank you so much for having me, both of you. You know, you guys are like the perfect team. And so
Oh,
I
thank
feel
you.
honored to be with you. I'm considering you guys, I know you said what you said, but I consider you guys to be, you know, definitely in mastery at this moment, especially with your podcast.
Aw,
Definitely. Y'all are
That
we
sweet.
means a lot.
appreciate you so much. That
That
means a
means a
lot
lot.
because you know
And
sometimes it be busted and disgusted up in here, but we try. But
especially when Mercury
wrap up,
retrograde is kicking our ass.
before we wrap up, we need to say what we're grateful for.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, yes,
So since
yes.
you're the
We're gonna start
you're
with
the
you.
guest, we
Since
can
you're our
start with
guest.
you.
Well, you know, I'm always grateful for just being getting up. You know what I mean? If I feel like I'm at that stage in my look, I'm at that stage when I wake up, I'm like, oh, you know, like, look, you know, I don't know if y'all ever seen that meme, but the devil be like, oh shit, she's up. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at, you know. So, but I'm grateful to be in this place. I'm grateful to be in this place. You know what I mean? Because it's not, you know, it's a practice. It's a practice. And so I intentionally aggressively feed myself these things. And I'm grateful that I do that. I'm done. I'm done with it.
No, with me, I'm grateful for growth and just in general. This is why I love having people like you. And we have Stephanie. I think you follow Stephanie Marie. Yeah, people like I love having guests like you because it's about that vibrating higher, the healing, the growing, and just opening your mind to what like we were discussing. So for me, my gratitude is my continued growth. Am I perfect? No, but I strive to continue growing and just vibrating higher and getting just more spiritually and closer inclined to my creator. So growth.
Well,
Melanie?
I will end it by saying that I am grateful for happiness, and that's something that everyone should try to reach, achieve, and try to stay happy and don't let anything pollute your mind or pollute your happiness.
Your
At the end of
soul,
the
your
day,
being.
it's very easy to be upset. It's harder to stay happy. So fuck it, just be happy.
Be happy. All right. Thank you guys so much. We thank Antoinette Wolf, our special guest, so much for joining us. We appreciate you even on a crazy day like today. Follow her on on all her platforms. You definitely be seeing us post her on our Instagram because I fell in love with her podcast. So we'll definitely be posting her in case you guys didn't hear where you could follow her, but definitely follow her. Follow us on the Inner Circle Podcast on YouTube. A subscription doesn't hurt, so definitely
Yeah,
support us there.
follow this podcast, you guys. Whoever's here, hit subscribe.
Oh,
Word, come on, sales
thank you.
pitch.
Subscribe. It doesn't hurt. It means a lot. We are on all streaming platforms as well: Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, all those good places, and our Instagram, the Inner Circle Podcast on Instagram. Make sure to follow us there. We give a lot of information there. We love you guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.
Bye.